Many moons ago, dresses were made from heavy material which were made to last for up to 8 years. Unlike then, the finish on dresses these days are far from simple embroidered designs and carefully crocheted collars. Today, a dress is not complete without eye-catching colours and Swarovski crystals.
When it comes to competitive Irish dancing and how they dress, that all comes down to being a winner and standing out.
They are now wearing a kind of short and lightweight material costumes.
The cost of an Irish dance costume can vary greatly depending on the style, the fabrics used, and then how much bling or rhinestones are used to accessorise the dress. So they can vary in cost anywhere from €1,000 up, and the sky really is the limit. It's best to compare an Irish dancing costume with a wedding dress, except for the fact that the dancer gets to wear the dress a lot more often than the bride hopefully gets to wear hers. But it is a bespoke dress. It is made for that individual, handmade to their measurements and to their requirements by way of colour, fabric and finish. So there's a lot of work and time goes into the dresses. Therefore, it's inevitable the price is going to be quite high.
I change my dress every year for the Worlds. For me, the fit is probably one of the most important because there's nothing better than a dress that fits a dancer really well.
It seems to me that it's ridiculously expensive because, as you know, as you get better and better, you have to be seen to be in the right gear. So say if it's a girl, there's probably a dress, or somebody who makes dresses, you have to have that person's dress. You can't be seen in anything less. And they usually cost an awful lot. What
tends to happen from year to year is if the majority of world champions in that year are wearing a dress by a particular company, then that becomes the de rigueur dress or company to go to. It comes from talk amongst the dancers, talk amongst the parents, talk amongst the teachers, and people will talk about owning a Gavin, which is almost like owning a Gucci.
Creator of the Gavin is Belfast-based Gavin Doherty. After designing dresses since the age of 10, Gavin opened Air Designs in '99 and since then has seen many changes in the fit and finish of a dress.
In recent years, a lot of the dressmakers we kind of got together and took it all back a step, back to velvets and traditional Celtic design. There still is a lot of sequins and rhinestones, etc. on the costumes, but it got to the point where there was feather and fur and everything else. People that haven't been involved in dancing for a long time will look in it and think it's, you know, it's ridiculous and whatever else. But the way the costumes are today just didn't happen overnight. It has been a progression from, you know, 20, 30 years. Things have only evolved because of what is available out there, and I'm sure if 30 years ago they had what we had, the fabrics and stones and everything else that we have today, I'm sure they would have been covered in them.
Although recent years have brought a change in design, the original methods of making a dress are still followed today. UK-based Maureen McHugh is one of the few independent dress designers who works full-time making Irish dancing costumes.
And the main difference in modern costumes is the weight of them. The old costumes used to be so heavy that it was difficult for the dancers. I think the moves that the dancers have to do now, they need a lighter costume. And I think the more fashion-led now, where in years gone by, dresses stayed the same for 10, 20 years. One dress would look the same as the next, never be out of date. Whereas now, I think things go out of date very quickly. Costumes can look a little too trendy. Having said that, it's a fashion, so in 6 months' time, it will change. So what's fashionable today, maybe leopard print or bows, 6 months down the line that will change to something else.
We only do what people ask us to do. It's whatever really is on the catwalk is what we can use, and that's why styles and types of dresses do change. It just keeps us all on our toes. This year's trend up until now has been sort of the asymmetrical designs, sort of half and half styles. Now before the world, with a few new ideas of just sort of an all-white dress with stones on it, and we're going to try and see how that's going to take. Hopefully it will work.
There is a common misperception that the dancer needs the most outrageous or the most standout dress to do well in competition, and that really has little or nothing to do with how they're going to place at the end of the day.
A costume is not going to win your world championships if you don't have the dancing to go with it.
An adjudicator is going to adjudicate based on the dancing, not the dress. However, human nature being what it is, when an adjudicator looks up at a stage, if there's 3 dancers standing in front of them, something's going to catch their eye.
It's not only the look, it's the way the child feels when they get a brand new dress, they're going out on stage to perform. It all adds to that you know, that mental thing.
The dress does add to your confidence, especially when you're wearing it for the first time and that it's a dress that you love. For me, when I have the dress on, I'm a different person. When I walk out on stage in a dress, I'm walking out as a performer, and you're waiting for everybody to look and be like, oh my God, her dress is amazing. And it does give you a lift because you kind of feel everybody's looking at you and admiring what you're wearing and how you look.
It's a little bit like the fashion season for each year. So it has developed in that. It also has developed in terms of cost, though. And people, for some reason, are very willing to embrace, they want the very best for their children. I suppose that's where it comes from. And they will do whatever it takes, you know, to put them up there and to have them well presented.
I think my main selling point is price. The most a dancer would pay if they wanted to come to me for a costume would be £1,200, would be probably the maximum.
The price of our dresses for a small class costume would start at £350 right up to £1,400 for the top level sort of World Championship standard costume. It's £1,400, probably around about €1,550. Fabrics can cost anything from £5 a yard up to £120 a yard. Some of it comes from Thailand, some of it comes from the States. A lot of the times I will go to New York and go around the fashion district. When you hear the price of a dress, there's a lot of things other than embroidery and fabric that are going into it. There is a lot of time and effort as well. Most people will maybe pick a colour or a rough idea, and then we have a lot of people that will just send over a picture and say, this is my child, do whatever you think, we trust your judgment. And you know, for me, that's a lot of the time that's the easiest way, because there's no limitation to what you can do.
I'll have a new dress for the Worlds this year. I have no idea what colour it's going to be. I don't want to know. But at the minute I'm in a black and green dress. I'm hoping Gavin will take me out of a green dress again, because I feel it's very predictable on a red head. I loved being in my kind of coppery and bronzy colours because it's very unpredictable, but yet there's really good colours on me, so I have no idea what he's going to do, but sure, I have no doubt I'll love it when I get it. Each dress is handmade and it's an individual garment. It's really difficult to say how long each dress makes. I mean, we could have two bodices, exactly the same fabric, exactly the same everything. You might sit on the machine, start sewing, the thread might start breaking every 2 seconds. It's really difficult to say.
The dresses do play an important part in the presentation of an Irish dancer, but without the use of makeup and tan, the look is incomplete.
I find it really insulting when people try to compare Irish dancing to beauty pageants. I mean, in a beauty pageant there's not much skill involved. It is a little annoying in a way. Like, I have absolutely no problem with beauty pageants. If that's what they like, that's what they do. I mean, who are we to judge? What is annoying is that people compare it because of the whole beauty part. In terms of Irish dancing, makeup and wig and costume and everything is literally for first impressions. It's like your result has nothing to do with how you look. It's about your talent and it's about the technique that you're doing on stage. It's all about the performance. Whereas beauty pageants, it is basically based on who has the prettiest smile and who has the prettiest walk.
Dancers wear makeup for the lights. As you know, lights drain your colour. And that, I think, is initially where the makeup came from. Unfortunately, some parents just don't know how to put makeup on, or wigs, or tan.
Can I do it, please? Makeup wasn't a part of dancing. Like when I was young, or my sisters, or any of the dancers like in our class, because I don't think they had money for ice cream cones, you know, not to mind to say makeup.
A lot of the progression in both costume and makeup, overall style for the female dancers especially, has come from society in general.
Fake tan has nothing to do with dancing. It's to do with kind of a culture that we have in Ireland, that we don't think pasty white is attractive in any way. The irony of the whole thing is they all want to stand out, but they all end up looking exactly the same. So I have met dancers and they were like, do you not know who I am? And I'm like, all I see is this Barbie doll in front of me, because they look unrecognisable, dolled up with their wigs and stuff on. So I don't think it's a good idea, but like, it's like that because it's kind of developed that way. I'm not defending it. Like, let me put it on the record. I think it looks ridiculous. But the reality is, it happens wherever you go.
People are so quick to judge and are kind of judging Irish dancing more like judging a book by its cover, not really taking the time to get past the exterior of it and getting into actually understanding what we do, and that, like, the work that goes into what we do. These kids that are in Irish dancing are in Irish dancing for the love of it, and I mean, they're training 4 or 5 hours a day. The amount of skill involved in that is
comparable to an Olympic athlete. So to have someone compare it to a child standing and is being judged on how they look, it's nowhere near the same.
Still to come, we meet more of the teachers involved, who go from strict to nightmare.
Arms, Kelsey, up, up! Come on, lift it up the back!